Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Speak, Film, and Enter, a podcast where we review and rank movies. I'm Nate.
And I'm Dylan.
And I'm Adam.
Adam's back after a week or so
Brief
break.
hiatus.
Nice to see
And
you, buddy.
so this is our
You too,
first
guys.
three-person movie review in a while, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's appropriate that it is technically, I think, our first review of a 2023 movie.
Okay, yep.
Even though we've reviewed a
Exciting.
couple movies in 2023, they've been kind of those spillover foreign movies, or they're eligible for the 2022 or 2023 Oscars. So this is the first movie that's kind of just 2023 all by itself. And so we're kicking that off with M. Night Shyamalan. He's back again, or still. He never really left.
It's just here.
With Knock at the Cabin. Adam, would you like to tell us what it's about?
Absolutely. While vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family make a choice to avert the apocalypse.
So,
yes, and this is based on a book, or this is adapted from a book.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. This is kind of rare for Shyamalan, I think. He normally does his own scripts. I mean, he wrote the script as well, but he's normally not adapting books or other material. I haven't really liked a Shyamalan movie since, like, Signs. So I generally skip them. I skipped the one from, what was it, Old? Was that last year or the year before?
Last.
I think it was 2021.
Yeah, I think it was 21.
Yeah.
It's 21. I'm pulling up.
So I skipped that one. But I was interested in this one because I have read the book, The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. So I remember like seeing the trailer, and within just that moment of Dave Bautista approaching the girl. When approaching her kind of in the grass out in front of the cabin, I was like, oh, did somebody adapt? Like instantly, I thought like this is that book, because it's a very vivid and descriptive part of the book. And that's what it is. Little different title with Knock at the Cabin, which I don't really quite understand the point in changing the title. It's shorter, I guess, but
yeah. Also, before we get any further, this will be a spoiler episode in case you didn't see it in the title, just because it's the type of movie, it's hard to really talk about it without talking about the ending. So this is going to be a spoiler review.
And I want to ask Nate the difference between the ending when we get there, and between the book and the movie, because I want to know which actually I like more. So
right. Also, it earned a spoiler review by finally dethroning Avatar: The Way of Water at the box office. So there's that as well.
Yeah, good job.
Good job.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, interesting for M. Night to adapt a book, because I feel like so often with his movies, like the plot and kind of the concept and kind of like what he's setting up for like a twist later, that's what makes it an M. Night Shyamalan movie. So it's interesting, like, okay, like the plot is kind of out of his hands, or he's not controlling that. So he's mostly just like thinking about how to adapt it, how to visually represent it. So I was really intrigued to see it for that reason, more than I was intrigued to see Old. Because when I saw the previews for Old, I'm like, okay, it's another weird, kind of concept, mind twisty movie. But with this, I'm like, oh, okay, he's going off a book that people really liked, and Nate said that he read. So like, okay, let's just see what that's like.
There's something more to chew on than just your typical, like, that's a really interesting premise for a movie. How's it going to play out? And it's going to be like subpar-ish. I feel like that's what we normally get with M. Night Shyamalan movies.
In a way, like less for M. Night Shyamalan to chew on.
Yeah.
Kind of restrained, it's interesting. Kind of like when
he's got to put his directing chops to a different skill. Like he's
like
got to adapt that rather than just be like, oh, it's this thing I made and I'm just going to do it how I normally do it.
Yeah. Like when you watch like Jackie Brown for a Tarantino reference that's adapted as opposed to his original stuff. But anyways, Nate, so you've read the book and what did you think?
Yeah. So that was also interesting for me because I do know how the book ends, and just seeing Shyamalan attached to this and expecting the sort of Shyamalan twist that's just become his thing. I was kind of like, how is he gonna like make this a twist ending? Because it's kind of, I mean, even the book too. The book and the movie are both set up as it's either one thing or the other. It's either really happening or it's not. And so that makes it kind of weird for a Shyamalan project, just because he gives you endings that you're not supposed to be expecting.
Yeah.
And in this case, I mean, we are spoiling this. Like, yeah, the world's either ending or it isn't. These crazy people that showed up at their cabin are either right about this or they're wrong about it. And
Mhm.
kind of what direction do you want to go? I mean, I can say we are doing a spoiler review. The ending is very different in the movie than it is in the book.
Okay,
It's a lot
good.
darker in the book.
Excellent.
Interesting.
Because I feel like they probably didn't test well with audiences. Like like there's already enough like dark stuff in this movie that I feel like if it was gonna do like an extra level of that at the very end, people were like too much.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Let's
Probably
just
would have been good.
let's just
but-
dig right into it then. We
Yeah.
already said it's full
Yeah,
spoiler.
so-
How does it end in the book?
in the book, Wen dies.
Murdered or
Well, sort of accidentally shot, like once the gun comes into play.
okay?
And because it's an
Oh.
accident, it doesn't
Count.
qualify for the like sacrifice. So then it's just
yeah. That's so much better.
so then it's just Eric and
Andrew.
And then I can't remember. I read this a few years ago. I can't remember exactly if all of like the Dave Bautista group, like if they all die or if one of them just kind of like leaves eventually.
Runs maybe.
But it ends with just Andrew and Eric deciding not to kill each other or kill the other one. But it's also not confirmed if the world's like actually ending or not.
It's just a lot of ambiguity.
There we go.
A lot of ambiguity, which I feel like is stronger. And I think by making it real in this book or in this movie, this starts off and it feels like it could be some type of like QAnon conspiracy theory commentary, right?
Absolutely.
Where like you got people living in this bubble. They even talk about it during the movie. But then by making it real, like what does that say about anything?
What does that accomplish? It
And
just ruins all
that's-
the tension.
Other than like literally all this movie ends up being about is it's just a pulpy thing where they put you in this like what if scenario.
Yes.
And like that's it.
Which is cool, but also, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
So,
we walked out. Me and Adam, but we walked out and we were both like, "So what did that all mean?" Or like, "What was the point?" And I think that's why it felt off, because they committed to showing us that the apocalyptic stuff really is happening, which took away an element of the mystery to it. And then it just becomes like, yeah, just a kind of a what if situation. But then like even the way he handles the what if situation, I thought that they were going to commit to not killing each other, and it would be them two and the girl, and the apocalypse would be happening, and that'd be the movie. And it'd be like, and at least that would be like interesting and like kind of bold. But instead it just works out like, nope, all four of the apocalypse people die. And then the one guy is just like, I accept it, I believe it now, and
Yeah,
like,
so we should also state
it's
like
like,
that's how the movie ends. Is Eric basically sacrifices himself and says like, I'm at peace with where I'm at, and like you can kill
which
me.
felt
like
totally
that's
unearned.
fine.
He just,
yeah,
That too. Like he even takes that away from like kind of like even that he makes easy by having one of the two characters be like, you know what, I'm good.
right,
yeah, like you know what, I've done what I
right?
wanted. I thought I saw a figure earlier. It was probably Jesus. Like, send me to the light. I'm ready to go. And it was like, all right, see ya, boom. Like,
Yeah.
now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also rolled my eyes really hard when the song came back on in the car at the end, which I like totally knew. Like as he started the car, I was like, that song's coming on for sure.
Yep. Mhm.
That part I did like that they both turn it off and then they both turn it on because they're like,
I thought
it's
it
makes
like
them
the
feel
execution
good.
there was pretty good because nobody talks. There are
Yeah.
things about this movie from like a technical level and like the acting, I think, is all really well done. Like there are cool shots, the performances are good. Dave Bautista is really good. It's cool to see Rupert Grint in a movie again.
Yeah,
Even if just for a short while. But
For a short
while.
yeah, I mean there are
looks like
things
looks like Ron's had some tough times.
for sure. Him and Hermione got a divorce.
I know.
Started
drinking too much.
Yeah.
Started hating all the Muggleborns and
way
just
too much
really
butterbeer
and fire whiskey.
Anyway, what were you saying?
and then like and having that connection, I don't know, it like the end of the movie just kind of validates the conspiracy theorists, which is a weird movie to make right now.
Yeah.
So I think we all kind of agreed the ending is sort of stupid and makes the rest of the movie also kind of dumb. But I think there's an element of solid entertainment for the first like
yes,
90% of this movie.
Yeah, we walked out and we were like, that didn't really do anything, but it was made really well. Like, it's probably his best made movie in the last 10 years.
I mean, definitely better than Old, and better than The Happening, and
more
better
on the
than
level with like Split.
Avatar.
Yeah, that's fair. I should say I haven't seen
I
Split,
think
so I
that's
can't
fair,
really comment there. But yeah, like it's a well-made movie, and it's the one that, like, when you wanted a twist that you normally would get with M. Night Shyamalan, you didn't get it, and it actually might have needed that.
Yeah, but it kind of needed a bold ending. It had all the pieces for a really kind of bold ending, so then it just kind of mildly and takes the safe route.
Yeah, I think this would have been way more effective, like the less that was explained. There was one review I read on Letterboxd that was basically somebody just saying, like, why does this movie make sense? It shouldn't.
Yeah.
We should all leave going like, wait, so was it real? Was it not? Like, that would be, that's where the conversation takes place.
Or finding out, like, after the fact, like, after all of this shit at the cabin's gone down, they get back to society and, like, oh yeah, by the way, the death toll is in the millions or something crazy. Like, oh shit, like, it did matter, and all of it
it felt like I told Adam, I'm like, it seems like M. Night, he just had this vision, and he's like, man, it'd be really unsettling if like airplanes like slowly fell from the sky, and he's like, all right, I need to like get a movie where I can show that.
But like, not in like a,
like, it was cool to see.
It was like
that one, yeah, there was one in the background where it's kind of like,
I love the way that it's like spinning and like falling, because that looks so unnatural, but like,
yeah,
that's not how planes fall, because they also will still go forward. Like, momentum is a thing. Physics didn't just like stop happening.
Well, they were already moving. They weren't just, you don't.
Yeah,
all these helicopters fell out of the sky because the rotors stopped. Like, then I get it. Like,
and it, and it felt weird too, because like the way that, okay, we're seeing that the stuff is happening in real life because we're seeing it on like a news channel. So, okay, there's more kind of commentary themes about like disinformation. And, at one point, one of the characters like, it's all bullshit. It's a feed that they're getting, right? So the whole time I wanted to be like, well, go to the other news channels. Like we have like 7
BBC.
Like, I'm like, let's check around. Someone should get a laptop out and be like, Google this and be like, this just like, I don't know. It felt so weird that in this, like, they're trying to kind of incorporate themes about disinformation and like the modern age of like not trusting media. But then they're just like, only one news channel.
But
like,
the phones.
What world are we living in?
There's no service.
This isn't the 50s.
But that would be an interesting talking point, Dylan, for like somebody to bring up. Is like, why won't you but they don't go there.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
all the conversation that happens is very like, we're about to have this expository, like we're about to have this, like, this question might come up, and then no one says anything. They're like, oh wait, it's time. We gotta do something else. And you're like, you were just about to get to the meat of like what's actually good here, to like talk about it, and you just were like, oh nope, actually this other thing happened, let's go over here. And you're like,
I felt like it was just a lot of the dialogue was just explaining, and I felt like, I could have used, we get some flashbacks to try to give more weight to the couple and the family at the heart of the story, but the other 4 characters, we just hear about their life. And we get a flashback kind of for Rupert Grint's character a little bit, but it just felt
really more about the other guy.
It's really more about the other guy. And I felt like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, they didn't give us flashbacks because they wanted us to suspend us in this. Is it real or is it not real? Because if you give us flashbacks, then you know that they are who they say they are, right? But then now I'm like, well, they already gave it away that it's real, so why withhold it? Why not get a nice flashback of Dave Bautista with the kids that he coaches, just to kind of add more weight to like his life? Like, I don't know
why he's so invested.
The character work once again was just weak in favor of concept explaining, isn't this cool how it all makes sense type stuff, where it's like, I don't know. I do like M. Night Shyamalan, I think, more than most people. I really love Signs, and I think that The Village is better than people give it credit for. I like Split. Like, I like his movies, but even I have to admit that this one was just really weak on the character. I mean, his best stuff is when you have the concept and the mind twisty stuff with good character development, so I actually feel something. That's why Signs like works, where this one is just like, I don't know, I kind of feel something, but I also just feel like, I don't know, this whole thing is just a really interesting like TED talk, like what would you do? So I was a little disappointed.
All right, you guys want to get into the stars?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we will be right back with our star ratings. Okay, who wants to give their low score first?
I will go first because just to piggyback off what I was saying before we had the little break. Big M. Night Shyamalan fan. I wanted this to be good. To add on what you said, Nate, I think that it is shot really well. I mean, just his camera work, his decisions with how to film things, like he definitely, I like it. I love the way that he shoots movies. There was a lot of scenes where I liked what he was doing behind the camera, but all the other flaws that we talked about are there. So I'm going to give this a 2.5. It's just okay. I wish it was better. I was thinking of giving it a 3 earlier, but I just I just can't. You know, about halfway through, I was like, "Ooh, M. Night, did you do it again? Like, is this another one where people are giving it a bad rap, but actually, like, it's kind of good?" And then it's like, no, that ending, it's not that great. So I'm giving it a 2.5.
Yeah, I'll go next. For the simple fact, I'm right in line with Dylan. I'm giving this a 2.5. The concept is great. I love the first 30 minutes, just getting into like what's going on and why is like very interesting. I love I mean, this was even in the trailer, but I love like Bautista, this giant like Hulk of a man, like walking up to this small child and being like, "Hello, would you like to be friends?" And like just like being very sweet, but also being like, "I'm here to like let you kill somebody." Basically, I have this horrible purpose that I have to be here for. That's cool imagery. I love them walking through the woods and that stuff. But yeah, the ending, some of the meat in the middle of the pre-recorded news stuff, it's just none of it really works. Like it could be a lot more interesting, and it's just not. And now that we know what the book ending is, the book ending's way better, in my opinion.
I would have been okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Pretty dark,
that's
but
the very least interesting.
They still could have left Wen alive and then just done that ending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and done that anyway. So 2.5. I want to like it more. I just can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2. It's kind of, you know, if you throw it on in the background on TV one day when you got like a group of people kind of pre-gaming to go out or whatever, like it's fine. But the ending just makes this movie really falls into the what's the point category, and it just kind of ruins all of it. And then, you know, Dave Bautista never gets to see Kiki's Delivery Service, so that's a bit of a bummer too.
I know, right? Great shout out there, but he doesn't ever get to see it. And I guess, yeah, just before we wrap it up, I just want to touch on, we didn't really touch on the performances too much, but I will say Dave Bautista, I think this is definitely going to be like, he's building his career resume. This is a very different role for him. I think he did a good job. And then Jonathan Groff, I thought was also really good. Good for him. It was nice to see Rupert Grint. Ben Aldridge, I don't know if I've seen him.
He hasn't been in much from what
I've
seen, but I liked him. I liked him more than Jonathan Groff, but I know Jonathan Groff slighly more. Obviously, that's Kristoff from Frozen. So that's
Ben Aldridge is the co-lead in Spoiler Alert, which was a rom-com from late in 2022 with Jim Parsons.
Okay.
And I think that just came out on something.
Yeah, it did.
Peacock, maybe.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
It sounds like he's been in a couple things recently, so we might be seeing more of him.
Yeah.
But it's not a good movie, but in the way where like it's stupidly entertaining for a while and it's made really well. The ending, the ending's just really dumb.
Yeah,
fair enough. All right, whose turn is it to put a wrap on the show?
I've got it.
All right, Adam, take it away.
Okay, I'm drawing a line in the fucking sand here. Do not read the Latin.